my name is Ann Seaton. I am an athletic trainer employed through Penn Medicine, Lancaster General Health in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I am contracted out to the school district of Lancaster and also to Lancaster EMS as their athletic trainer. I have been an athletic trainer for 10 years. I never had an athletic trainer when I was in high school. I could have used one. But I got interested in the field when my sister was just researching different majors in college for me, and I looked it up and I shot an athletic trainer and I said, that's what I want to do. So I really enjoy the fact that this job is I'm not stuck at a desk. I can be outside and inside. I get to watch sports and help athletes do their best. I wouldn't call myself an athlete. I participated in sports when I was in high school. So I ran track all 4 years and played 1 year of basketball. Yeah, when I shadowed an athletic trainer looking for majors, and I knew that's what I wanted to do, I researched colleges that had athletic training as a major. And so I applied to 4 different colleges that had it, and I got accepted. And I just started that program. And when I was in college, it was a bachelor's degree. So I did my 4 years and then took the board of certification test and became licensed in Pennsylvania. And then 7 years after being an athletic trainer, I wanted to get my master's degree. So I researched colleges that had post-professional graduate degrees, and I went to Indiana Wesleyan University and got my master's in athletic training in 2020. I had an athlete at the previous school I worked at who just woke up with extreme 10 out of 10 back pain. It progressed to 10 out of 10 back pain. He was a freshman in high school, healthy, and he couldn't walk, and the doctors could not figure out. He spent a week at the Children's Hospital of Philly, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. And his mom was like, why are we wasting time in the hospital when Miss Ann can do the same thing they're doing? And I was like, you think I can do what? I can help your child walk? I was like, what? And so our team physician said, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, go ahead and do what? Help him walk? He came home, he got discharged from the hospital, and it took me, so the physicians had told us parents, don't expect your child to be playing basketball for 6 months. Don't expect him, it might take him a while to get out of using the walker and all that. I got him back playing basketball he was playing with me, which I said I'm not an athlete, but playing basketball within about 2.5 months, then COVID hit. And so he had a nice break so he could rest, and he returned that summer. So he returned in probably 4 months, and he was back to full time, like feeling 100% by the time his winter season came around. So I did all his rehab. I helped him walk. It was a lot of fun. Just amazed at how many kids want to be my student aides because they see me doing my job and they say, that looks like fun. Can I be your student aide? I'm like, sure. I had an athlete who became an athletic trainer and went to Indiana Wesleyan because of me, because I recommended it. And I didn't realize that they were watching me that closely. I have a ton of parents who just say, yeah, what does Miss Ann say? That's what the athletes come and tell me. And I don't know. I don't know what I do. I just do my job, and kids come back from college and they're like, I didn't realize that you do so much for us. Like, our athletic trainer in college is not as good as you are. I just do my job. I am motivated by these athletes, these high school students. I can't say enough like how much they impact my life, and it's weird to think that like a 14-year-old boy couldn't make an impact on my life, but I really enjoy getting to know these students and their family and their parents, and watching them progress and be able to return to their sport, and also watching them as people outside of their sport. It is a lot of fun to be able to become, be that person who cheers them on the court, off the court. And just the other day, yesterday actually, I went to breakfast with a parent of one of my athletes from my old school, just because I switched schools and she wants to be in touch with me. So that really is a lot of fun and motivates me to keep doing my job. So right now I'm working with Lancaster EMS, so I take care of the paramedics and the EMTs when they get injured. So we had a paramedic who had an open tib fib fracture. It wasn't on the job, but I don't know. I have never done rehab, full on rehab, and it's just, I'm the only person doing rehab for him and is open to him since like when he was discharged, and he's now fully weight bearing. So that's something I've never encountered before. That is a lot of fun to be able to do all of his rehab from an open tip hip fracture. I think my wildest story is that basketball player who he never received a diagnosis. So, but he is playing in college now. So no, they knew that he had an infection. That's all they could figure out, but they could not figure out what the infection was. So he never received a true diagnosis for his back pain, like why he was in that extreme pain and could not walk. That was not really a setting, and it's an emerging setting across the country. So I apparently am the first athletic trainer in Pennsylvania to work with public safety, but I had somehow heard that there's athletic trainers working in the public safety sphere, and I had been interested in working with police at some point. Eventually, I thought that would be a fun setting to be in. When I switched schools from previous school to the school I was just at, I knew the importance of connecting with my local EMS, so I had just reached out to them to see if we could practice like emergency skills. Someone could tour campus, tell me where an ambulance could go, couldn't go. So I made that connection with the chief for Lancaster EMS. And 2 years later, he had reached out, said, can you do a continuing education for our staff? Because we very consistently get 43% of our work injuries or lower back injuries from improper moving and lifting, and we are out of ideas. Can you do a presentation on proper moving and lifting for us for EMS week? So I did that. As I was doing research for them, I was like, you need an athletic trainer, and here's how I can fit, and here's how I can help you, and here's how I can help reduce costs and reduce time lost off of work from injury. And here's how I can get you better, more efficient care. And so they were very interested. So I just connected them with my supervisors through Penn Medicine, and they were very interested and wanted to have me on board. So they got the contract started. I think the biggest issue is I would say it's pay. Pay is the biggest thing with athletic trainers, but also just a good work-life balance, how to not get burned out. That's probably the biggest concern I hear from athletic trainers. Yeah, I think work-life balance is a common complaint among athletic trainers. One, because our job is different than a normal job. We work shifted hours, so we are usually working when most people are like, hey, want to come to dinner? Want to do something on the weekend? Well, nope, I have to work. So that, I know, at least for me, is a big struggle. And we're also expected to do a lot while we're here on the job. So what I do, I have learned to say no. So I've learned to say, like, I'm not going to cover that powder puff football game, or I'm not going to cover that race, like that fundraiser race for you, just so I can have a day off, or go home early one night. So I have learned to say no to things like that. I've also learned to help out others when I can. So when I have the energy, I have learned to step up and say, I'll help you. And that way, hopefully in turn, someone will help me when I need help. And I have seen that in action. The other thing too is to, someone gave me this advice: do things that give you life, do things that you enjoy. So I like to listen to podcasts on my way home. I like to read. I like to go on walks, exercising, things like that. So I make time when I'm off to do those things. Here's the advice I'm giving the athletic trainer who took my spot at my previous school. He's brand new. You will make mistakes. That's part of the job, and it's okay. You don't have to know everything, and it's okay to use your resources and reach out to other people for help. So if you don't know exactly what an injury is, that's okay. You don't need to know the specifics, but if you're surrounded by people who are good at their job, you can use them as your resource. So that someone for me is my team physician. So he is an excellent at what he does. So I okay to say, I'm not sure what this injury is. And hey, our team physician is amazing. He is really good. Let's have him take a look at it. So that's something that I wish I would have known or felt more confident in saying, I don't know what this is. Yeah, that's something that I have been actually thinking about. I don't personally think I'm the smartest person or the best person in the room or the most knowledgeable or the most skilled. And so I think about, like, I have and it's really, I think it's been much easier at Penn Medicine because they hire good people. I'm surrounded by people who are way smarter than me, way better than me, who know more than me. And so it is so nice to be able to like just refer to them or learn off of them or gain knowledge and gain little tidbits so I can become better and also share my experience with other people. So yeah, I have been thinking about that a lot, that I'm surrounded by really, really good people. I personally am not a data person and numbers and charts and graphs. So I'm really excited to use technology and something like Healthy Roster to be able to make that easier for me and do the work for me instead of me having to like specifically, somehow figure out how to do this. That way I can show what I'm doing and I can show what I'm worth and I can show, like, I can quantify what I am doing as an athletic trainer and the value I provide. Whereas I have the stories from, parents are good, they're really good to give you that qualitative, I guess, like, to the admin of saying like, hey, they're really good at what their job. They really care about my student. They help my athlete, my child get better. But we also need that quantitative, those numbers, those specifics. So I am excited to use something like Healthy Roster to be able to show the specific data.